All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the South Florida Business Journal's 2020 Ultimate CEO Awards. I'm Jason Alpert, your host for today's virtual festivities. We've got a great program in store for you as we pay tribute to South Florida's most talented and distinguished chief executive officers. My name is Jason Alpert, and as I mentioned, we are live. A lot of people wonder, are these programs live? Are they pre-taping everything? We want you to know that we are live coming at you, and here's how we tell you. We show you on my phone. It is 12:01 for me. It is 12:01 for you. So understand that we are coming to you. We're doing live programming and making it as interactive as possible. We're going to have some polls coming up in a little while and make sure that the program runs and you all have a great time throughout the program. Now, each of our honorees during this 2020 Ultimate CEO Awards has not only played a major role in our business community, but he has also donated countless hours to the communities in which they live and work. We appreciate everything that each of our CEOs has contributed to making Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County a wonderful place to do business, raise a family, and of course, have fun. Throughout the year, South Florida Business Journal has been announcing these CEO honorees in our special feature called CEO Insights. Each week, we took an in depth look into their world and what inspires them, what gives them cause for pause, and how they see the future of their business, their industry, and more. We learned that they all have an unwavering commitment to excellence, along with their multicultural flair that has put them on the forefront of business in leadership and job growth. Today, we will get to hear from our 14 honorees as we take an in depth look at their careers and what they believe is in store for their respective industries. Now, while you get to hear from all of our honorees, we want you to know that we want to hear from you. And here's exactly how you're going to do it. It's very simple. You're going to join us in the chat box. Here's how you get to the chat box. It's pretty simple. First, make sure you are not in full screen mode. Next, look to the right of your video player box and then click enter chat and submit your name. That's it. That's all you have to do. Please interact with us. Let us know you're there. Let us know where you're viewing from, what company you're with, who you're here supporting. Send a quick shout out or congratulations to those who you're here supporting. We'd love to hear from you throughout our program. Now, we'd like to thank our sponsors for today's program, starting with our presenting sponsor, Comcast Business, our corporate sponsors, our FIU Business, GCI Worldwide Corporation, and Regions Bank. So thank you to all of those for supporting this program. The program brings together the commitment to excellence from all of our honorees for their business, the community, and the region. Something that we all know that all three economic development agencies in our region, they also have that in common. They are the keys to success here in South Florida, and we're delighted to have them join us as our associate sponsors, the Beacon Council, the Business Development Board of Palm Beach County, and the Greater Fort Lauderdale Alliance. We thank you for all that you do to help make South Florida the best place to do business in the world. Several of our honorees participated in our celebration packages that include promoting their favorite community organizations in our upcoming giving guide that we'll publish in November. We want to give a special thank you to our celebration sponsors, the Baptist Health South Florida, City Furniture, Hotwire Communications, High Power, Miami-Dade Beacon Council, Nova Southeast University, and PNC Bank. Thank you to those organizations. The Business Journal truly appreciates all of the support for the companies who make this program happen. There is one more sponsor we'd like to mention today. Humana has joined today's program as the official mask sponsor. Caring for the health and well-being of our community is their number one priority. Now, with that in mind, everyone registered for today's program will receive 2 Humana masks sent directly to you thanks to Humana. Now, me, as someone who registered for the program, received my 2 masks. They're right here, right? So you'll receive them. They come in packaging like this. They look like this. When you put them on, you'll see there's a nice branding here for Humana because they believe in the health and safety of you all as well. So you'll be receiving those for everyone who registered for our program. Now, next up, we would like to turn to the president and the publisher of the South Florida Business Journal. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Melanie Dickinson.
Thank you, Jason. And on behalf of the entire South Florida Business Journal team, we are thrilled to welcome all of you to our 2020 South Florida Ultimate CEO Awards program. Now, today it truly is an honor to present these awards to such an amazing and unique group of leaders. We know it certainly has not been an easy road. And the challenges and obstacles that have been thrust upon all of our CEOs in 2020 have no doubt felt insurmountable at times. Yet these leaders, these ultimate CEOs, have persevered and they continue to do so. Quite simply, when you lead a company to excellence, it is always an impressive feat, right? But when you lead a company to excellence during a pandemic, well, that is something else entirely. In a word, it's extraordinary. These leaders are extraordinary. And our audience is in for a special treat because you are going to get to hear from each of our honorees in their own words about their leadership, how they are forging ahead, and the lessons that they have learned during 2020, or as many of us call it, the new normal. Now, of course, these programs don't happen without our partners, so I do want to take a moment and I want to thank them as we are truly fortunate to have such great supporters in our community. So first, I want to say thank you to our presenting sponsor, Comcast Business. Jimmy Kelly and his team are truly wonderful, and we do so appreciate you keeping us connected, more important than ever right now. Thank you. I also want to thank our corporate sponsors. We have Dean Joanne Lee and the FIU business team with us today. Thank you for continuing to educate our business leaders of tomorrow. Giselle Chaminade with GCI Worldwide for helping shape so many of our executives and corporations with your corporate training programs. So important. Thank you. And to my good friend Kelly Brown with Regions Bank for being there every step of the way while we are all navigating growing our businesses during these challenging times. And a special thanks to our associate sponsors. We have our 3 economic development arms of South Florida with us today. The Business Development Board of Palm Beach County, led by Kelly Smallridge. The Greater Fort Lauderdale Alliance, headed up by Bob Swindell. And the Miami-Dade Beacon Council with Mike Finney at the helm. You all are truly the backbone of our Tri-County region. Thank you. And again, I want to thank all of you for joining us today. And once again, congratulations to all of our incredible ultimate CEOs. And I hope everyone's going to enjoy the rest of today's program. So let's go ahead, let's get things started and introduce you to this year's honorees and hear some of their thoughts on 2020. Thank you.
The biggest takeaway from leading my team in the COVID-19 era has been the need for adaptability and flexibility. The fact that our entire firm has been able to work virtually and be every bit as productive or efficient to me is amazing.
Our investments in digital and our digital team have been very important, and we've learned how to do business in new ways, making appointments, chat, everything virtually with a customer.
We understood that we had to deploy new technologies in order to be effective. Our most significant tool is BizHelp.Miami. It was done in partnership with a number of other organizations in the community, but it literally aggregates virtually every resource that's available to help businesses during this crisis in one place.
Biggest takeaway is really how resilient we've been as a community and as a country. Like many companies, Hotwire went completely remote in the beginning of March, and we've been extremely fortunate to have been able to grow and thrive through this pandemic.
This big shock to the system, both business, community, our individual lives, it all leads to reinforcing our core values, exercising the empathy that we have for all of our KL associates and our clients, our subcontractors, our vendors, treating them with great care, making sure everybody was safe.
I may have the title of CEO, but it's really our team that's driving this organization forward to ensure that the increased number of families who are struggling with food insecurity are being served.
We've known that change occurs much rapidly than in previous decades. COVID has accelerated even that. We need to be at the drop of a pin to be able to totally change patterns of being from a business point of view and react to new stimuli.
You have to have a culture of adaptability. Dealing with a pandemic such as what we're dealing with right now stresses an organization, and stress reveals the character of an organization. And I can't tell you how proud I am of the character that this organization has been showing.
The reality is all of our teammates are suffering through the pandemic with the same set of circumstances, with many also being burdened with healthcare, homeschooling, and other very unique circumstances. So frequently talking about how we drive alignment in the organization, how we keep everybody motivated, and really understand the flexibility required for their personal situation is absolutely critical.
When you're responsible for tens of thousands of people during a pandemic, the most important thing in terms of leadership is making sure you take good care of your people, because they're the ones that take care of the patients.
My belief in exercise and value-based leadership has bode me well. Because you see, value-based leadership, when you exercise it, the people you work with know that they have those same values.
The ability to be vulnerable, to be able to share, to discuss openly your future goals, what your expectations are, and really being present and being a leader and listening.
6 months ago, communication was a given, but now we value every interaction even more, and I believe that we are all more attentive to each conversation we are having.
It's all about the people, and fortunately we spend a lot of time making sure we have the right people and that those people feel comfortable identifying problems, working together, being completely transparent, but know that they're being supported.
Those are truly some words of wisdom of getting through the pandemic and how to lead men and women through this climate that we are all in. So thank you to Melanie and our honorees for those comments. Now, let's go ahead and get the program started. First up, let's hear from Comcast Business. As Melanie said, let's hear from our friends at Comcast Business. As Melanie said, Comcast Business is keeping us all connected, and let's take a look at their video.
Another day, another chance to bounce forward.
Let's do this.
By making your internet speeds fast and reliable, so you can keep up with your customers. By ensuring those speeds have wireless internet backup, so if the power goes down, your connection doesn't. And by covering all your connected devices with serious security, so we can handle this and this, while you get on with this and this. Be fast, be secure, bounce forward with Comcast Business. Get started with a powerful internet and voice solution for a great price when you buy both. Call or go online today.
All right. Once again, thanks to the entire Comcast Business team and, of course, Jimmy Kelly. And now, just to make sure everyone is paying attention, we want to put up a quick live poll. To participate, you will have to answer in the chat box. As a reminder, to get into the chat box, you will have to first make sure you're not in full screen mode. Then just look to the right of the video player box and click on the enter chat and submit your name. It's that easy. All right. Here we go. We decided to have a little sports fun with this one. I know most of you are thrilled to have live sports back. And no doubt many of us are watching from the Comcast cable networks, right? We want to know, which sport are you most excited to have back? Football, baseball, hockey, or basketball? Very simple, right? They're all back, and we're seeing some of them play a little bit better than others right now, especially for the local teams. But ultimately, go ahead and answer that poll: football, baseball, hockey, or basketball. We will have the poll results in a few moments. In the meantime, we want to remind you that the 2021 Best Places to Work Awards nominations are currently open. So if you think your company culture is second to none, as you're answering the poll, of course, we'd love for you to look into being nominated for that as well. Company surveys will be sent out in mid-October, and we've added some work from home questions this year. Details can be found on the SFBJ website under event nominations. So go ahead and check that out. We're going to go ahead and close that poll out. We'll have the results back to you a little bit later in the program. It's now time to begin to meet our 2020 South Florida Ultimate CEOs, the reason why so many of you have joined us here today. Our first CEO in Tamarack, the West Broward community, at the edge of the county development, you'll find a 909,000 square foot headquarters of City Furniture, headed by CEO Keith Koenig. Originally founded as Waterbed City, today they have 19 City Furniture and 13 Ashley Furniture home stores with 2,000 associates across Central Florida. They also have manufacturing subsidiaries, Kevin Charles Fine Upholstery in Mississippi. Keith and the City Furniture team have planned recent investments of more than $100 million in new showroom locations, e-commerce, and new markets, including an Orlando expansion. The most recent transformation also includes sustainability and lean practices for future operation. Last year, the company announced its green promise of becoming carbon neutral by 2040. Some showrooms are LEED certified, and trucks are being converted to run on compressed natural gas. It also has all-electric Tesla semi-trucks. In-house recycling keeps 6 million pounds of cardboard, plastic, and styrofoam waste out of landfills annually. Ladies and gentlemen, your first Ultimate CEO, This is Keith Koenig. All right, congratulations to Keith. By the way, City Furniture recently announced that they are adding 500 jobs here in South Florida alone. Let's hear Keith's thoughts on the retail industry and his words of wisdom and lessons learned.
What we've learned in the COVID-19 era is that, of course, it's important to have a strong financial foundation because storms happen and you never know when they're going to happen. But we've realized that our investment in all things digital has really paid off. And building the right digital team and having a young sales team and marketing team that are nimble and able to adapt to this new digital reality. We're making appointments, live chat is important, telephone sales, all kinds of virtual sales have reinvented our business. The home furnishings industry and most of business is forever reinvented because of COVID-19. Our part of the world has actually benefited because people are going to spend more time at home. The message I share with our team is home is more important now than ever. Where we're working, where we're spending more time with our family, where we're learning, where we're studying, where our kids are being educated, is home. So in our industry, people are reinvesting in homes. They're buying homes at a greater rate, and they're looking for safety and comfort in their homes, and also function. So the home furnishings industry has actually benefited quite a bit, and our business is up quite a bit because people are investing in their homes. So the industry has benefited now. Now, will that continue forever in the future? Oh, nobody knows. But a few things will happen in the future that we do know. That all things digital are more and more important. The sale of furniture online has gone up exponentially in the last few months. And 5 years ago, we made a conscious decision to build a great digital team, invest in our own photography so we have rich content, and we've changed our supply chain so we had all kinds of home accents and accessories at very affordable prices to build to the customer. Now we can present a very unique and wonderful package of home furnishings and home accents in a way that really nobody else can, at value options that nobody else can. We're among Bernhardt Furniture here, but we have very affordable furniture at every price range. And having that be able to communicate it on digital and having sales associates trained about how to handle telephone sales and make appointments and be safe with the customer, I don't think those are going to change anytime in the future. People are buying more patio furniture. They're realizing their backyard is their new staycation. People are investing in better mattresses because they know their health is more important than ever. People are investing in home offices because they know they're going to be working and their kids are going to be studying more at home. Home is more important than ever. That's not going to change.
All right, well said, Keith. Thank you. Next up, in her previous life as a restaurant owner, Kristen Johnson learned much about business, especially the importance of customer service. Today, she is the CEO of Hotwire Communications, one of the first U.S. companies to build a fiber optic infrastructure, and has been recognized by PC Magazine and Netflix for its network speed. She says this is her greatest professional accomplishment and is what she's most proud of over the past 20 years. When asked how she ensures that the company's goals are audacious enough, she says that, quote, dreaming big comes naturally to us. The real challenge has been to make sure we were deliberate and thoughtful in execution, and to make sure that we break down those big goals into real results. Kristen says that the traits that have evolved most in her career have been her meditation practice, being patient, being a better listener, and taking pause. That's me taking a pause, by the way. She says she has a real natural enthusiasm for action and that she's learned to appreciate the art of patience. Ladies and gentlemen, your next South Florida Ultimate CEO, this is Kristen Johnson. Now, please join us as we hear Kristen's take on the future of tech industry in her company.
Hotwire's been installing fiber optic infrastructure for over 20 years. And one of the things that the COVID crisis has really made very evident is that bandwidth is really the fourth utility. And it's absolutely critical for families to be able to attend school, attend work, and to connect to one another. So this has highlighted the need for Hotwire services more than ever in our communities. So like so many businesses, Hotwire had to adapt and adjust due to work remote. And one of the things that has really emerged from this is that we have had a lot of innovation in the way that we've had to respond to customers' needs. We've developed virtual reality tools to help our technicians help our customers without having the need to go in their home. We've been able to launch new communities by having virtual town halls. And we've really been able to pivot and innovate in ways that I think that we're going to carry forward into the next decade.
All right. Thank you, Kristen. We appreciate your insights and thoughts. Now, for our next Ultimate CEO, before he became the Southeast Regional President for PNC Bank in 2014, Cressman Brunson was a walk-on track and baseball player in college and a semi-pro center fielder with the Orlando Rays. He also sold insurance for MetLife and was a corporate banker with National City Bank in Cleveland before being handpicked to launch the bank's Florida brand. They became PNC in 2008. Cressman's efforts with the bank's diversity and inclusion program, which he helped elevate upon his arrival, is recognized nationwide. Likewise, his leadership of some 1,000 retail and commercial bankers, wealth managers, and staff statewide was tested with this health crisis. He rallied the team, rolled up his sleeves, and personally handled 75 Paycheck Protection Program applications. In all, the bank's Florida region secured 6,400 loans totaling $900 million. Cressman says his leadership style is being a good listener. He adds that he's always making himself available to employees and clients and admits that he conducts a lot of mentoring one-on-one with interns and newer employees and providing guidance based on his 25 plus years in banking. Ladies and gentlemen, your next Ultimate CEO, this is Cressman Brunson. Cressman shared his thoughts on the future of banking and his strategies and lessons learned in 2020.
The banking industry is much like every other business out there. It's evolving and is faced with a new normal. The majority of our clients were banking online before COVID-19, and the pandemic simply expedited those virtual habits. Brick and mortar branches aren't going anywhere, as face-to-face interactions are important to our clients. The industry is being forced to evolve and to keep up with those needs. In fact, PNC Bank has one of the strongest balance sheets in the industry, and it's poised very well to succeed. We have the liquidity and the capital to meet the needs of our customers and weather this crisis. So much so that we're continuing to expand. Recently, we expanded into the Seattle and Portland markets, and here locally, we're expanding into Miami. We're moving into a 6,000 square foot office space at the Plaza in Coral Gables this December, and we're expecting to open up 4 new branches in Coral Gables, Doral, Brickell Avenue, and Pinecrest in 2021 and 2022. We believe that when you stay focused on taking care of your employees and clients during these challenging times, good results will be realized. Several of our strategies and lessons we've learned during the past few months are definitely going to resonate for the long term. We're learning that flex time can actually increase productivity. And I'm very proud to see that happening across PNC Bank in South Florida every day, as our teams work tirelessly to assist our customers facing unforeseen financial hardship while delivering essential banking services that are critical to our region's infrastructure. In the case of PNC, we're fortunate because we've invested billions of dollars in technology, which allowed us to continue to communicate virtually very effectively with our employees and clients with essentially no issues. And we expect that this new normal will proceed for the near future.
All right, Cressman, thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our next sponsor from Regions Bank. Join me as we hear from Senior Vice President, Market Executive for Palm Beach and Fort Lauderdale, and Commercial Area Executive, Kelly Brown.
Hi, everybody. It's so great to connect with you virtually. It's a real honor and a pleasure today to welcome you to this year's Ultimate CEO Award. I'm coming to you today with my message from my City Furniture-inspired dining room. Like so many of you, our business operations are certainly looking a bit different this year. So on behalf of Regions Bank and myself, I just want to give a huge heartfelt congratulations to all of this year's Ultimate CEO recipients. You know, throughout the difficult days of COVID-19, I've been so inspired by your creativity, your ability to adapt your business model, and probably most importantly, your commitment not just to your customers, but to your communities. You are certainly the heartbeat of our community. You know, we have a saying here in South Florida to never waste a crisis, and you have certainly lived up to that. So I just thank you. I thank you for giving of your time and of your heart to make the only place I ever called home so wonderful. And lastly, I'd just like to give a big shout out to the South Florida Business Journal and my dear friend Melanie Dickinson for hosting this event, but more importantly, just always keeping us so connected, even at this challenging time. Again, huge congratulations and stay safe.
All right, Kelly, thank you so much for that, folks. I love Kelly's cross promotion there, where she mentioned the City Furniture-inspired dining room that she was sitting in to do that message for you all. So, Kelly, thanks so much for that. All right, folks, it's time for our poll results. We asked you earlier on in the program, what sport are you most excited to have back? Was it football? Was it baseball? Was it hockey? Or was it basketball? And I'm telling you, I watched them tally them up as they were coming in, and it was a dead heat almost until the last vote came in. And the winner of this poll was football, right? Football got 44% of the votes. I'm sure that has something to do with the fact that there's some Canes up in here. I'm sure that has something to do with the fact that your Florida Gators play on Saturday. So college football is in full swing. The pros are rocking and rolling. Basketball finished one vote behind that 40%, and then baseball and hockey after that. So listen, for those of us who are sports fans, we're glad that anything's back at this point, right? So that is our first poll. We've got another poll coming up for you later on in the program. Let's move on with introducing you to more Ultimate CEOs. Up next, when Paco Velez joined Feeding South Florida as president and CEO in 2012, the shelves were bare and the organization was at risk of closing. It served 1 million people, but was 7 figures in the red. Within 2 months, Velez cut its workforce from 96 people to 42. Today, the organization's budget is $13.5 million, and it annually distributes more than $207 million worth of food donated by, and quite frankly, since the pandemic, purchased from Florida farmers, manufacturers, retailers, and food drives. The volume of food has grown from 29 million pounds in 2012 to 119 million pounds today, with 1.3 million people served by staff and volunteers. He says his greatest accomplishment is being 8 figures in the black and having a team that makes decisions for him and really cares about the constituents they serve. When asked what advice he would give to his 21-year-old self, Paco shared that he would tell himself to learn not to waste the negative energy on things you cannot control, but figure out how to respond to things outside of your control. And he would give himself the lottery numbers. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Paco Velez. Let's hear Paco's thoughts about not-profits and what he sees from them in the future.
Feeding South Florida serves over 706,000 individuals from Palm Beach down to the Keys on any given year. This year, that number has doubled due to the COVID virus. We're seeing a lot of families from the hospitality, the tourism, the transportation industry, even some of the nonprofit industry and retail stores get furloughed or get released from work, and we're seeing a lot of those individuals and families come through our lines. We've gone from over 61 million pounds last year distributed to those 700,000 individuals to more than 119 million pounds of food ending this fiscal year, June 30th. So the need is great. A lot of families are struggling, a lot of families are desperate, and there's a fear of the unknown, of not knowing when this is going to end, when they're going to get a job, and when they're going to be able to put food on their table. A magnifying glass has really been put on the issue of food insecurity across not only South Florida, but across our country. Families on any given day struggle to put food on the table, even though they are working full-time jobs. And I think this really highlights the need for food for those families that we serve. And hopefully what this does is it really helps our community learn and understand some of the issues that our families face on any given day. Another thing that we see is our farmers throwing away produce. The reality is in Florida, over 700 million pounds of produce goes to waste every single year. Most of it gets tilled back into the soil because it goes unused. But there's always that waste, and Feeding South Florida is here to rescue as much of that as possible to get it under the tables of families. This year we saw a lot more of that waste go out, but we're here to make sure that we're rescuing that product and meeting the needs of our families. Many families haven't been able to get out to our mobile or drive-through distributions. Our drive-through distributions are really out there to ensure that families are staying safe, not just the families getting food assistance, but our volunteers, our law enforcement officials in our neighborhoods, that they're all staying safe. And what we've seen is some of our families either don't have vehicles, or there's a disability in the household, or our seniors aren't really comfortable going out to the community to get food. So Feeding South Florida has enlisted the aid of volunteers and some of our corporate sponsors and vendors to get food from Feeding South Florida delivered to the homes of those families that can't go out and get food for themselves. That particular initiative is something that we've been wanting to do for quite a while, and this expedited our program, and now we're looking to carry that forward even past the pandemic.
All right, Paco, thank you for that. Now, moving along, let's meet our next honoree. Asked to highlight a trait that makes him an effective leader, Michael Finney, CEO of Miami-Dade Beacon Council, credits listening. Whether to his team, leaders across Miami-Dade County, or the business owners he's charged with luring or convincing to stay and grow, listening has helped ensure Finney and his team of 25 staffers meet constituents' needs. It seems to be working. Last year, the organization completed 54 projects that drove more than $820 million in new capital investment and created nearly 2,200 direct jobs. Pandemic notwithstanding, Finney's team continues to hit its numbers by listening to the market's needs. They've already completed 3/4 of their plan for fiscal year 2020, and they are ahead of their projections for job creation, direct investment, and the number of companies assisted. Mike says his greatest trait is his ability to listen with his eyes and ears and heart. He adds that once you figure that out and you understand there are professionals and experts who can offer so much more than your own know-how and knowledge, it's an empowering feeling to know that others can deliver the results that you could never achieve alone. Ladies and gentlemen, your next Ultimate CEO, this is Mike Finney. Now, if there's ever anyone who has their pulse on the economic landscape of Miami-Dade County, it's Mike. Let's hear his thoughts on where he sees the region moving forward.
Our primary work is focused on helping entrepreneurs, helping existing businesses that are looking to grow, and then identifying businesses around the United States and around the world that also have expansion plans where it might make sense for them to locate in Miami-Dade County. We know the crisis has created some incredible challenges for our local businesses. We've taken on a significant role in helping small businesses well beyond the scope of what we would normally do, because so many of the federal, state, and local programs are designed to help small business. And we wanted to make sure that we made adjustments to our business model to allow for that. So we feel really good about where our industry is at. We think that as this crisis starts to unfold, we will have many opportunities to support companies both near and far. And we also think that this crisis will actually cause many companies that are operating offshore to establish operations here in North America where it makes sense for them to be in close proximity to their customers. And if that is the case, and their customer base is located in North America or in Latin America, Miami is an ideal location, and I think we all understand that. The economic development profession relies heavily on our ability to get face-to-face with clients, whether they're companies in our community that are looking to grow or companies from around the United States or around the world. So we're deploying technology in ways that we had not considered prior to this crisis. There's hardly a day that goes by where our team is not engaged in multiple Zoom meetings during a day, communicating the attributes of this community. We're also in the process of developing virtual reality tools. We think it's critically important that we really focus on small businesses here. Miami is a small business community. More than 95% of our companies are in fact small businesses. Many of those small businesses were simply not prepared to actually take advantage of some of the federal, state, and local programs that were available to help. And in particular, the financial programs. And so we're making a very big effort right now to engage with the small business community to ensure that they have the kind of back office structure in place that will allow them to seamlessly pursue grants and loans as they become available in the future, because we know that there will be some type of a crisis at some point down the road. And then the third thing that we've learned is that collaboration with other organizations is critical. During this crisis, we have probably developed more than 30 new collaborative relationships. So it's about technology, small business, and the ability to collaborate are probably the three most significant lessons that we've learned during this crisis.
All right, thanks so much. We now move on to our next Ultimate CEO. Bernard Paul Huss spent his youth working at his father's electrical contracting business. In 1991, he co-founded High Power. Today, the Fort Lauderdale-based company is a leading electrical and utility contractor that serves general contractors, utilities, and developers in 20 states. It also handles plant power and communications projects, prime electrical infrastructure, airfield lighting, and ground mount solar nationwide. He says to keep innovation and curiosity alive at High Power, he stresses the importance of perspective, self-reflection, and continued growth through mentorship. He also encourages his team to approach challenges through a collective lens, saying, quote, "Looking at issues through different eyes broadens your perspective and leads to most balanced solutions." Bernard adds that his ability to adapt and be proactive rather than reactive are traits that have best served him over the course of his career. These days, he says, rather than spending all his energy working in the business, he has spent the last 20 years getting better at working on the business. And he admits it's much easier said than done. Ladies and gentlemen, your next Ultimate CEO, this is Bernard Paul Huss. Congratulations, Bernard. We are thrilled to share your message to our guest today.
To be a successful construction industry company, you have to have a culture of adaptability. Dealing with a pandemic, such as what we're dealing with right now, stresses an organization, and stress reveals the character of an organization. And I can't tell you how proud I am of the character that this organization has been showing. The construction industry is super resilient. It's made up of some pretty tough companies that have been around a long time in South Florida. And we've faced crisis after crisis over the last 30 years. And we always seem to emerge stronger every time, and I expect that'll happen again this time. COVID has had a substantial impact on the construction industry from a culture point of view and having to double down on safety issues to having to manage and maintain through a substantial slowdown in the award of projects. But our industry as always will rebound, it always does. If nothing else, there's a lot of pent-up demand for our services, and we will start seeing those projects come to fruition here in the very near future. And as always, construction industry will rebound. The strategies that we take into situations like this really are the same for most issues, and that is to take a step back, look at what we have at hand, what resources we have to work with, and what makes the most sense. It's always the right strategy when you believe that the issue is going to be relatively short-lived, and by short-lived I mean less than a year. We went into this thinking for sure that this would be less than a year. We've hung on to every single person that's here because the cost and expense of bringing people on board and getting them up to speed, and especially in a company like ours that's been around 30 years and the vast majority of the staff has more than 10 years of tenure, you don't easily give up on that. So you make the investment, if you will, during these periods. This is a time to invest and stay invested in our company and invest in our future. The long-lasting effects that this will have on our industry are primarily cultural. The impact of being able to work safely in any given situation is something that our industry has always been able to adapt to and will continue to adapt to in the long run.
Always full of positive spirit and wisdom. Thank you, Bernard. And speaking of positive thoughts, please welcome our next corporate sponsor for today's program, FIU Business and Dean Joanne Lee.
Hello, I'm Joanne Lee, Dean of FIU College of Business. Thank you to the South Florida Business Journal for having us to speak today. While we all wish we could gather together safely, I'm grateful for the opportunity to join you virtually. First, I want to congratulate all the 2020 South Florida Ultimate CEO honorees. Each of today's honorees is an accomplished business leader and an engaged community member. As leaders, you're all role models for our community. The paths you walk right now are unlike any we have experienced. As the COVID-19 pandemic has stretched on, each of you has helped your teams face down enormous challenges in their professional and personal lives while steering your businesses to success through rough waters. Many of you have also led the essential service providers that have kept us going through all of this. We know we can count on all of you to continue to move our region forward with an entrepreneurial spirit and a strong vision. This is why we're so proud to honor you today. As you move forward, I hope you will consider FIU Business your lifelong learning partner. If you have a small enterprise, we invite you to connect with our Florida SBDC, the Florida Small Business Development Center at FIU. Our consultant offers custom consulting for businesses as they do business in the pandemic and beyond at no cost. For corporate leaders seeking top-level education, FIU Business offers a Doctor of Business Administration, a degree that gives you the opportunity to engage with thought leaders around the world as you continue your career. We also offer 10 fully online master degrees, including new online programs in logistics and supply chain management, finance and accounting. If you don't know FIU Business, I hope you get to know us soon. Just a side note, US News and World Report ranked our international program #2 in the nation in 2 consecutive years. And the QS World University Rankings recognize our online MBA as #9 in the world. FIU Business is indeed a home of many top-ranked programs in the country and in the world. And better still, we are your neighbor and partner in the community. Thanks again to the South Florida Business Journal for bringing us together as a community in this challenging time. And congratulations to all our 2020 Ultimate CEOs. When it's safe to do so, I hope to warmly welcome you to our campus. In the meantime, please take care of yourselves and your families, and stay well.
All right, Dean Lee, thanks so much. We're ready to roll with just one more poll question for you since we just heard from Dean Lee. The question comes to mind, where did you receive your most recent degree from? The question is on the screen for you, so don't forget that you have to be in the chat box to select your answer. The choices on the screen are, where did you receive your most recent degree from? A is in Florida, B, or number 2, in another state. Number 3, the third option, is outside the US. And D, what degree? I'm a student for life, right? We'll leave that poll open for the next few moments here. Let everyone get their votes in. If you want to give a quick shout out to your alma mater, where you got that degree from, we encourage that. If it's at FIU, even better. I'm sure Dean Lee will appreciate that. So is it A, Florida, B, in another state, C, outside the US, or D, what degree? I am a student for life. As I mentioned, we'll keep that open for another few minutes. While you're answering that question, we'll remind you again about the Business of the Year Awards. That event is coming up on October 1st. Richard Fain, the Royal Caribbean Group Chairman and CEO, is our Lifetime Achievement Award recipient. So you want to make sure that you get that on your calendar. And Tune in for that one and watch our Business of the Year award featuring our Lifetime Achievement Award recipient, that being Richard Fain from Royal Caribbean Group. So check that out on October 1st. So again, we will get through this poll, continue to vote as necessary. We will give you the results coming up later on in the program. All right, next up, our next Ultimate CEO is Brian Keeley. He leads Baptist Health South Florida, a healthcare organization with 11 hospitals, hundreds of ambulatory outpatient centers, urgent care facilities, and physician practices spanning South Florida, plus one of the largest cancer centers in the region. Yet ask him what drives him, and it's the well-being of his 23,000 employees. Whether it's watching them at work following Hurricane Andrew in 1992, or ensuring his doctors, nurses, and other frontline workers have the personal protective equipment they need to face COVID-19, his job as CEO is to ensure that they can safely do theirs. He says that organizations are all about people, and they are what have made Baptist Health one of the most successful healthcare systems in the United States. When asked about his leadership style, Brian says that the recent pandemic merely reinforced his style of trust, collaboration, and teamwork. He knows the importance of developing an outstanding group of people. With these folks and his mantra of being prepared for the worst and hoping for the best, he feels confident that he can overcome anything. Ladies and gentlemen, your next Ultimate CEO, this is Brian Keeley. All right. Congratulations, Brian. We know so many South Floridians are thankful for you and your team and your commitment to excellence. We also hear Baptist Health just hired Tony Ambrosi from the Walt Disney Company as their first ever Chief Digital Officer. More signs of the company forging ahead. Folks, Brian shared his thoughts and takeaways as well. Let's take a look.
The pandemic was an unprecedented and profound time for all of us, especially for people like me in the healthcare industry. Our people came together with passion and compassion and with great cooperation as a wonderful team to take care of the tens of thousands of people who entered our facilities. One of the technologies that we were experimenting with prior to the pandemic was telemedicine and virtual health. And we embraced that during this difficult period of time. And now we're doing thousands and thousands of visits. And we found out that patients and the staff and the doctors and the employees really like it, and they've embraced it. There was a study done at Mass General, and it was a survey of thousands of people over 65 years old. And about 3/4 of those people said that the virtual visits were as good as or better than a physical visit with their physicians. So in the future, I think we're going to be doing many, many more virtual visits with the primary care doctors and also with the specialists and with the psychologists and psychiatrists and whatever. We think this is going to have a very profound effect on the quality of medicine, accessibility, and actually lower the cost of healthcare. We haven't had a global pandemic since 1917, 1918. So this is brand new to all of us. It was challenging for everybody, not only here in Miami and at Baptist Health, but throughout the entire country and throughout the entire world. We learned an awful lot, and we need to take those lessons and make sure this thing does not happen again. So please, when you go outside, make sure you wear your mask.
All right, Brian, thank you. And folks, if you're going to wear a mask, you should wear one from our sponsor, Humana. So they sent them out, wear them, okay? All right, next up is George Hanberry. He is the CEO that will be honored next. Since being named as Nova Southeast University's 6th president in 2011, George has led it through a string of accomplishments. He oversaw the rewriting of the school's core values and helped it earn the Carnegie Foundation for the Advancement of Teaching's dual designation of both community engaged and high research activity. Through his 50 years in the professional world, he spent 30 years in city administration, including almost a decade as Fort Lauderdale city manager. Also oversaw work with ratings agencies to refund and sell the school's bonds during the pandemic. The school maintains its A and stable rating outlook. When asked what current CEO inspires him, George says without question it's AutoNation chairman and CEO Mike Jackson, adding that he's a perfect CEO, a servant leader. He's smart, audacious in his thinking, but accomplishes what he undertakes. George says his greatest professional accomplishment is hearing students after they graduate say that they wouldn't be the person they are today if they had not gone to NSU. The rewarding feeling gives him the sense that he's doing the most noble thing he's ever done in his life, and being president is the culmination of his aspirations and dreams. Ladies and gentlemen, from Nova Southeast University, your next ultimate CEO, this is George Henberry II. Congratulations, George. We asked George for his insight on the education industry and more, and here's what he had to say.
Universities and colleges today are upside down. But I've learned over time that in order to be a good leader, you need to recognize that chaos can be your friend. As such, we have and we will come out of this pandemic stronger and greater, because we've taken what we've done good in and what we have been known to be in distance learning, and we've expanded that throughout the university. We've beefed up our technology, and we've increased our health sciences, and we are sought after even more today than other universities are throughout the nation. As such, because we have improved the technology and emphasized our availability so that students can have choice to either be in the classroom or remotely, taught by the same professor at the same time, not many other universities can offer such wonderful attributes. And it's what has allowed us to continue to have our undergraduate program to even see an increase over last year's, where other universities, much smaller, have failed. 60% of our students are in disciplines for the health professions, not just undergrads, but 80% of our students are in graduate and professional programs. It gives us the opportunity for undergrads seeking to come to NSU to passionately explore what they really want to be, because not many other universities, only about 12 in the nation, are predominantly graduate and first professional as we are.
All right, very well said, George. Thank you, and congratulations. Next up, it's Neeson Kasdan, Managing Director of Ackerman LLP. He's arguably had as much impact on the revitalization of Greater Miami than any developer or contractor in town. The veteran land use attorney represented Swire Properties on development of the $1 billion Brickell City Center, developers of the Miami Design District and Faena District, and David Beckham Soccer Stadium site acquisition and development. He served as vice chair of the Miami Downtown Development Authority. In Miami Beach, where he served as commissioner and mayor, he helped spearhead South Beach's renewal and chaired the New World Symphony and the development of the New World Center. Today, he leads the Miami office of a firm with 250 employees in Greater Miami. To keep innovation and curiosity alive in the organization, Neeson says it's a combination of things. First, you want to hire people who are at their best and brightest. The other is to have a deep interest and good public policy. Ladies and gentlemen, your next ultimate CEO, this is Neeson Kasdan. All right, let's hear Neeson's thoughts on the professional services industry in South Florida and the takeaways he has learned throughout the years and now in 2020.
Remarkably, I think the legal industry has actually changed very little in terms of its basic functioning. As we all continue to work, most of us remotely, we're working on the same matters for our same clients, and life continues forward just in a remote and technologically connected way. So the basic law industry hasn't changed. What will change, though, is I think where we work and to some extent how we work. And what I mean by that is, it is clear to me that in the future, attorneys and staff will be spending less time in offices and more people will be working out of their homes. And the legal profession will also have a reduced need for space. Attorneys will begin sharing offices because they won't be using them all times. So I think what you will see, the big impact on the legal industry will be changing the way we work, reducing the amount of space, and having more people work remotely.
All right, congratulations, Denise. Next up is Peggy Olin, the CEO of One World Properties. She arrived in South Florida from Peru alone, speaking no English, but set on finding success. Her path took her into banking, only to realize her future lay in real estate. In time, Olin's name was becoming associated with some of the area's leading developers, where she helped deliver $5 billion in sales. Over the past 11 years since founding her company, Peggy and her team of 57 employees, including 24 in her Shanghai office, they market to buyers from almost 60 countries. Since the pandemic, they pitch and show properties much the same way here as abroad. She pivoted early on, learned how to create and conduct virtual tours, visits, and open houses via video. Sales and marketing budgets that pre-pandemic might have been spent on travel, printed pitch materials, and even catering for events, both domestic and abroad, well, today they're going into tech-backed presentations. Ladies and gentlemen, your next Ultimate CEO, this is Peggy Olin. Let's take a look at Peggy's insights in the real estate industry and, of course, her pearls of wisdom and lessons learned.
One of the ways that real estate development is going to emerge coming out of this pandemic really is the ability to apply some of the key elements that people will be looking for to live in the future. If there were to be another situation, they don't find themselves confined into something, in some cases, not being able to go down to use the amenities. How the developers are thinking about the usage of that space. How can they make it more private? How could they lessen the amount of touch points, whether it's in an elevator access, or really to give buyers the security of a different type of air filtration system? How things are going to get clean in the future? All those are conversations that are ongoing with some of the developments and some of the developers that I'm currently working on. I think that is something that is going to be forever changed in our industry. The way that I see that my industry is going to benefit from this crisis is the ability to recognize the need of others and what really is going to resonate with them coming out of this pandemic. Two things come to mind specifically. First, the ability to be able to market internationally to all of our buyers without the need of getting on a plane. Really doing that from the comfort of our own office or sometimes the homes of some of our team members. That has really been something we've been able to perfect. And I think that our industry is going to become a lot stronger on creating tools in order to have the ability to present and make that person feel, whether you could be in New York, you could be in California, or you could be somewhere in South America or Europe, the ability to really connect to the property prior to them coming here, and in many instances buying without stepping foot in South Florida.
All right, well said, Peggy. We're thrilled to have such a positive outlook for our region. Ladies and gentlemen, time to welcome our next sponsor from GCI Worldwide Corporation, Giselle Chaminade.
Hello, fellow leaders. What a privilege to be together today celebrating the Ultimate CEO. First of all, thank you, Melanie, my friend, for your determination and commitment that didn't allow COVID-19 take away from us this opportunity to gather and to celebrate our leaders in South Florida. I want to take a moment to celebrate every one of you honorees today, because what you have accomplished is absolutely amazing. At GCI Worldwide Corporation, we are no strangers to the challenges that leaders face on a day-to-day basis, as we are always behind helping them, strategizing for them to overcome their challenges and achieve their goals. So we know the path and we know how hard it is. So thank you so much for the sleepless nights, for the time away from family, and from so many other sacrifices you had to make to arrive where you are. But the great news is you have arrived at the top of the mountain, and we want to congratulate you for that. May your light keep shining, because you are such a force for good and a role model for all of us in our community. So congratulations.
All right, Giselle, thank you. Now, folks, before we wrap up our program or begin to introduce our final set of CEOs, we wanted to bring you the results of the education poll. That was the one where we asked you, where did you get your most recent degree from? This one, again, a tight race, if you will, down the stretch as we watch the polls come in. I'll pull up the results here. And the final results were, most of you got it right here in the state of Florida. 49% in the state of Florida, 45% from another state. We only had 2 votes that either got it outside the US or had no degree at all. In fact, we get 0 votes for no degree at all. What degree? I'm a student for life. So congratulations to all of you for working hard, getting those degrees, and understanding the value of the education as it goes into the business community. All right, next up, our next ultimate CEO is managing principal of Miami World Center since 2006, overseeing all phases of this $4 billion, 27-acre mixed-use real estate project. Our next ultimate CEO honoree, Nitin Motwani, has been at the forefront of downtown Miami's makeover. He earned his master's degree in real estate from Columbia and set out to pursue careers that impassioned him. It was when Motwani met future mentor and partner Art Falcone that the vision for Miami World Center came to life. And so too has downtown Miami. We're not building a building, we are building a city, he says. We're constantly seeking innovative ways to improve development in the city. When asked if there's been an event that has shaped him as a leader, Nitin shares that the discourse over racial inequality that has taken place in recent months has been transformative. His team see Miami World Center as being emblematic of Miami as a whole, so they've built a diverse team with a balance of races, ethnicities, and even genders, which isn't always the case in the development sector. He adds that the push for racial justice has caused many in the community to think about what more they can do to be part of the solution. Ladies and gentlemen, your next ultimate CEO, Nitin Motwani. All right, now congratulations, Nitin. He has officially joined his mother, Ramola, and brother, Dev, as South Florida Ultimate CEO alumni. Let's hear his take on the future of real estate development.
Real estate will emerge in a very different way through this crisis, and it should. We need to adapt, we need to evolve. So we were already seeing certain trends changing, and I think COVID will accelerate that. For example, office will not be all at home or all in the office, but will likely be some sense of hybrid. We're seeing residential become a place where people are getting more used to working from home. We're seeing co-working, we're seeing hoteling. Every industry aspect will evolve in a positive way, and this will simply accelerate trends we were already seeing. There will be a number of strategies and long-term effects in the real estate sector as a result of COVID. People always valued their time, but I think in a post-COVID world, they'll value it even more. By not having to spend time in traffic, people are spending more time with their families. By not having to travel for a meeting, people are able to spend more time doing their day-to-day jobs. So I think that what we'll find on the other side of this is a true value to time and trying to figure out how best to maximize the efficiency of your time. There will be business travel. People will go back to the office. People will always live in downtown urban cores. But how people choose to spend their time in general will focus a lot more on the efficiency of their time.
All right, moving along to our next ultimate CEO. When his teams in China warned of the coronavirus in February, Citrix Systems CEO David Henshaw told his engineers to get ready. They improved the company's customers' solution, simplified onboard connectivity, and prepared to scale so that the large customers could quickly move employees onto the system. So when many of its 400,000 users worldwide were sent home to work, Citrix's remote access software was ready. The remote work transition validated David's belief that work is an activity, not a place. He joined the company in 2003 and was named CEO in 2017. He says that a lot of CEOs he talks to have been really surprised just how productive their teams have been over the last 6 months. He adds that the importance of agility in any business is critical, saying, quote, whether we're talking about a pandemic or a weather disruption, the idea of having a culture that is flexible is business critical. The adaptable businesses are the ones that are going to thrive. Ladies and gentlemen, your next Ultimate CEO, this is David Henshall. All right, congratulations to David. We asked David for his insight on the technology industry and more, and here's what he had to say.
The pace of innovation is accelerating faster than we've ever seen. Digital transformation projects, often planned for years at a time, are being consolidated down into months or even weeks, delivering tremendous employee benefits. We're also seeing the way that we work changing pretty dramatically. Most CIOs that I talk to right now are excited about the level of productivity that they've seen by managing their teams remotely throughout the pandemic. Post-pandemic, it's going to allow them to reimagine much of their physical real estate, consolidating some of their requirements, while at the same time leveraging remote work permanently for a much more flexible, engaged, and productive workforce around the globe.
All right, up next, Michael Kaufman is leaving his mark and ethos across South Florida. Born in New York and raised in Hollywood, today he leads one of the region's largest general contracting firms. From its offices in Delray Beach, the company is co-founded. The company that he co-founded tallied nearly $481 million in 2019 revenue, up 73% from 2018. They were also named 2020 Contractor of the Year by Engineering News-Record. Michael's success before and especially during the pandemic has come by leading his 250 full-time employees, just as it's written in the company's core values, which are, quote, integrity, innovation, and ingenuity, fueled by love and passion. When asked how he ensures that his goals are audacious enough, he says that he keeps his vision on the horizon, adding that he's got an incredible executive team in place that is set to be a billion-dollar company. He says the BHAG for the firm is 2 steps. One is to be the best construction company at their current size, geographic footprint, and performance level of the $500 million construction company. 2 is to double it. It's that simple. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Michael Kaufman. Please join me in hearing the words and wisdom from Michael and his take on what the future of the real estate and construction industry looks like.
Construction industry is going to be changed. It's one of those old industries that takes a long time to evolve, but this is going to advance that evolution dramatically. With working remotely for our company has been very effective. We're going to continue to do that. Diving into this pandemic very quickly, reacting to it with great safety measures, teaches us great lessons on how to deal with adversity in the future. We're just really proud that we've maintained really good health among our employees and our subcontractors, and we'll continue to exercise those same active practices into our business once this is gone. And I've been in business in Florida for 31 years. I've lived here for over 40. We've always had an influx of folks moving to Florida for all the right reasons. That is going to be expanded now. As we know, there's great flight out of the Northeast. We're going to see a lot of those folks coming to Florida. It's good for Florida business. It's certainly good for Florida construction. So after all of this is done and we're back to normal business, we're going to see robust growth. Working remotely is effective. That has never been a big part of the construction industry. It will be going forward. Safety on job sites, although we've always considered it our first priority, has clearly become the call of the day and very, very effective on our jobs, and will remain on our jobs that way.
All right, Michael, thank you and congratulations. Now, in the past 40 years, our next ultimate CEO, George Perez, who is the chairman and CEO of the Related Group, has envisioned, designed, and delivered more than 100,000 condominium and apartment residences. Look at the markets from Greater Miami to the Palm Beaches, north to Atlanta, and west to developments in or planned for Denver, Dallas, Las Vegas, and Phoenix, and his work pierces the skyline of all those cities. It didn't start that way. As a young man, Perez claims he had no plans for going into business. A long-haired hippie, he traveled to Europe where he discovered how culturally rich cities improve people's lives. He says he fell in love with real estate and urban planning. His eye for trends and his inherent flexibility and creativity have allowed him to adjust to the changing markets. Layered in are entrepreneurship, creativity, and innovation, what he calls the cornerstones upon which Related is built. He encourages employees to gather inspiration from everything and anything from food to fashion and push every project to outdo the previous one. Ladies and gentlemen, your next Ultimate CEO, this is George Perez. Let's take a peek on what George has seen in 2020 and what he sees moving forward.
There's two things that you take away from the pandemic and how it affects the industry. Number one, it has had a huge effect in the promotion of technology in running your business. Everything from Zoom meetings, to be able to deal with your day-to-day decision making, including all the staff, into also how to reach your audience. How do we market apartments? How do we market condominiums? How do we sell our product? And before there was a lot more one-on-one personal relationship. Now we've seen that we've had to increase our technology so it feels like you're reaching people on a one-to-one basis without actually being there. That has been a huge change and will be a permanent change. The second one is that we are going to see different sectors of our industry, particularly the retail sector, change radically. So we're seeing people are talking almost 25% of the demise of malls, in where prime land will be left vacant. So the question becomes, what are the alternative uses for those? And we're all trying to figure that out. We think multifamily, which is our specialty, will have a very strong role in filling those gaps.
All right, there you have them, our 2020 South Florida Ultimate CEO honorees. Now, before we share our closing remarks, we have one last message from all of our honorees together with a few words of thanks and appreciation for their success. Without question, they are each in awe of the amazing support they receive from all of you who are here with us today, along with their families, team members, and of course, the communities that support them.
I want to thank the South Florida Business Journal for this incredible award as one of the honorees for the Ultimate CEO with such incredible leaders of our community. And I want to thank my team who's been there every single step of the way, that I feel so proud of, for my family, my loved ones, my friends that are always there supporting me.
I want to thank the South Florida Business Journal for this great honor. Our folks here appreciate the recognition too. I want to thank them, our 247 employee associate owners of Kaufman Lind. They're amazing folks. I also want to thank the fellow honorees. I'm honored and humbled to be among them. They're amazing leaders in South Florida. Very humbled and appreciative. Thank you.
On behalf of all the other CEOs, I can tell you one thing that I will all say. And the only reason that we have got any attention is because we've got great teams. And my team is awesome. The team that runs City Furniture are bright, smart, young, educated, hungry, innovative, and they make me look good.
Today I'm wearing the Hotwire uniform in honor of our over 500 field techs and other frontline employees who, like other essential workers, have been in the trenches making sure that our company remains strong and we keep our customers connected to essential broadband. Thank you to the South Florida Business Journal on this recognition from myself and the entire Hotwire team.
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the 9,000 SITRITEs, both in South Florida and all around the world, for your tireless work making sure that our customers are safe, secure, and driving continuity of their operations through this period of time.
NSU has 22,000 students starting at age 2, and our oldest graduate last year was 82. We have 5,000 employees with 2,500 faculty members. and it is on their shoulders in which I stand, in which I humbly accept this award in their name.
I'd like to thank the South Florida Business Journal for the honor and privilege of receiving this award, but I'd also like to thank our 23,000 employees for the tremendous support they've given to us.
We have really reacted well, and that is because of the great staff that we have all through the company.
Our board, our executive committee, and then the staff that I have a chance to work with on a day in and day out basis are just remarkable. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate all that you do to ensure that Beacon Council has the kind of success that this community expects.
It is truly a great honor to receive the ultimate CEO recognition. The key to my success is surrounding myself with the best people who are good people and hardworking people and want to do things the right way. That's why I've been able to position myself for an award like this.
I'd like to thank my partner, Art Falcone. I'd like to thank my team. I have folks that have been with me since day one, and without them, we wouldn't be anywhere at Miami World Center. Thank you to each and every one of you for all that you've done that I'm aware of, and more importantly, all of the headaches you've dealt with that I'm not aware of.
I want to thank everyone at the South Florida Business Journal and everyone in this great business community of South Florida. I'm so proud of our employees and PNC for its continued commitment to South Florida and our philanthropic initiatives of early childhood education, community development with an emphasis on the arts. I really appreciate this honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you to the South Florida Business Journal for this amazing recognition. Thank you to the Feeding South Florida Board of Directors for their vision. Thank you to Sari Vasky for her inspiration. Our Feeding South Florida team for their dedication, motivation to do more. Our donors for their trust and support, knowing that every dollar equals 9 meals. And finally, to our families, Feeding South Florida will always be here for you.
Receiving the recognition as an Ultimate CEO is unbelievable, very flattering, but only happens because of High Power as a whole. All of you make this possible. Thank you so much. Let's continue being great at what we do, and let's stay safe. Thank you, everyone.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And to all of our CEOs, thank you for all you do for the South Florida community. We'd like to give special thanks to Michael Behar at Press Play Productions for the awesome videos that you've been watching this afternoon. He did a really great job putting them together. Now, by the way, as a registered attendee for this event, you will all receive the link of today's program and an email tomorrow that will be available so you can watch this program for the next 30 days and share it as well. Also, if there's anything that you would like to capture from today's program, you can reach out to Maureen and the team at the South Florida Business Journal, and they will take care of you as it relates to that. It was great being with you all here today. Once again, my name is Jason Alpert. I have loved being your MC for the Ultimate CEO Awards. Keep reading the Business Journal, and we look forward to seeing you, albeit in cyberspace, at our next Business Journal event. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.